Hi students, in this video I am going to discuss one more important chapter, biomolecules. For your CET as well as NEET level examination, it is one of the easiest and very important chapter. Okay, now come to the point of definition of biomolecules. In this video, I am going to discuss some synopsis point related to the biomolecules chapter. In that, my first point is about definition. Students, you know, these biomolecules, this word it is combination of two words. Here bio means life and molecule means components. Therefore, simply biomolecules are the components which are necessary for life. Okay, and your biomolecules are also defined as, these are the components or organic compounds which are produced by the living organism, and these are the essential constituents for living organism. Okay, next come to the point of carbohydrates. What are carbohydrates? Remember students, these are optically active polyhydroxy, derivative of polyhydroxyaldehydes or polyhydroxyketones. Once again, what are carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are the optically active derivative of polyhydroxyaldehydes or polyhydroxyketones. Next, what about the classification of carbohydrates? Classification of carbohydrates. Remember, our carbohydrates are classified on the basis of hydrolysis process. First, our carbohydrates are classified on the basis of hydrolysis process. Okay, based on the hydrolysis process, there are three types of carbohydrates. What are those? Monosaccharides. Next, oligosaccharides. Third one, polysaccharides. Okay, come to the point first. What are monosaccharides? See here, monosaccharides. These are the simplest sugars which cannot further hydrolyzed. Remember, monosaccharides are the simplest sugars which cannot further hydrolyzed. Means it is one of the simplest sugar. It contains only one sugar unit. Therefore, example for monosaccharides are glucose, fructose, galactose, etc. Okay, next. Come to the point of oligosaccharides. Remember, when a particular carbohydrate undergo hydrolysis, at the time it produces 2 to 10 monosaccharide units. Remember, when a particular carbohydrate which undergo hydrolysis, at the time it produces 2 to 10 monosaccharide units, then they are called as oligosaccharides. See here, in presence of oligosaccharides, there are disaccharides, trisaccharides, etc. Best example for disaccharide is sucrose, because it is composition of glucose and fructose. Next, polysaccharides. Remember, what are these polysaccharides? These are the carbohydrates which undergo hydrolysis. At the time they produce several number of monosaccharide units. Best example for polysaccharides are starch, cellulose, etc. Okay, this is very important concept. Remember with a particular example. Okay, next about reducing and non-reducing sugars. About reducing and non-reducing sugars. Remember students, our carbohydrates, based on the action of sugar, they are classified into two types. What are those? Definitely reducing and non-reducing sugars. In that, first one about reducing sugars. What are these reducing sugars? Remember, a particular sugar which reduces the tolerance reagent to a black precipitate of silver and Fehling solution to the red precipitate of cuprous oxide. Remember, one particular sugar which reduces tolerance reagent to a black precipitate of silver and Fehling solution to the red precipitate of cuprous oxide. Those type of sugars are referred as reducing sugars. Remember, simply you can also define like this. Reducing sugars are the sugars which reduce the tolerance reagent. Remember, what is this tolerance reagent? This is one of the ammonical silver nitrate solution. Okay, this test is very used for detection of aldehydes containing groups. Okay, next, what are these non-reducing sugars? Students, if a particular sugar, if it do not reduce the tolerance reagent, means these type of sugars cannot give positive test with the tolerance reagent, as well as Fehling solution test. Best example for non-reducing sugar is sucrose and all polysaccharides. Remember, all polysaccharides are example for non-reducing sugars. And what about the example for reducing sugars? Remember, all monosaccharides are reducing sugars. All monosaccharides are reducing sugars, except sucrose. Disaccharides also act as a reducing sugars. Why sucrose is act as a non-reducing sugar? Why sucrose act as a reducing sugar? Non-reducing sugar. Remember, sucrose, there is no pre-aldehydic or ketone group present in the sucrose structure. Okay. Because of this point, our carbohydrates are classified on the basis of action of sugar. There are two types. One is reducing sugar and another one non-reducing sugar. Remember. Next, come to the point of glucose. Very important. I think you know glucose. Its molecular formula is C6H12O6 and it is available in grapes. Next, therefore, because of this point, this is also called as grape sugar. Okay, next. Very important concept, see here. It involves so many concepts. Structure of elucidation. Very important, related to your CET examination. Elucidation of structure means how you prove the structure of glucose is like this. This concept is proved in presence of this concept, elucidation. In that concept, we already discussed in previous year. In that first point is, what is the molecular formula of glucose? Glucose molecular formula is C6H12O6. And one of the reaction, when glucose is react with, see here, glucose react with hydroiodic acid in presence of red phosphorus, it gives N-hexane. It gives N-hexane. Glucose react with hydroiodic acid in presence of red phosphorus, it gives N-hexane. Remember students, this reaction shows or it proves there are 6 carbon atoms present in a glucose and they are arranged in a straight chain. This N-hexane means normal hexane. Normal hexane, in that the 6 carbon atoms are arranged in a straight chain. Okay, next another one reaction. When glucose is react with hydroxylamine means NH2OH, at the time glucoxime is formed, or glucosoxime is also called, or the product is formed. When glucose react with hydroxylamine, at that time glucoxime is formed. Similarly, when glucose is react with HCN, glucosinohydrin is formed. Glucosinohydrin is formed. These reactions shows, or these reaction proves there is a carbonyl group present in the glucose structure. Remember, these reactions proves there is a carbonyl group present in the glucose. Next, another one type of reaction, when glucose is react with bromine water. Glucose react with bromine water, at the time gluconic acid is formed. Gluconic acid is formed. Means this is one of the reaction which shows there is a aldehyde group present in the glucose. This Br2 water means bromine water is one of the mild oxidizing agent. Remember, here the aldehyde group changes to carboxylic acid group. It indicates there is a aldehyde group present in the glucose. Next, another one. When glucose react with concentrated HNO3, means one of the strong reducing agent, at the time it produces saccharic acid, or also called as glucuric acid. Glucuric acid. This reaction shows there is a aldehyde group, as well as this particular reaction also shows there is a one primary alcoholic group present in the glucose. Next, another one reaction very important, acetylation reaction. When glucose is react with acetic anhydride, usually 5 moles of acetic anhydride is required in that reaction. At the time you get the pentaacetyl derivative. Remember, when glucose is react with acetic anhydride, at the time you get pentaacetyl derivative. That particular reaction proves there are 5 OH groups present in the glucose. Okay, this concept is very important. Okay, based on these all evidences, one of the scientists, Bayer, suggested the glucose structure containing 4 asymmetric carbon atoms. Remember, our glucose contains 4 asymmetric carbon atoms. Okay, this is about the glucose and structure of elucidation. Next, glycosidic linkage. What is it? This glycosidic linkage. Remember, students, glycosidic linkage, it is one of the linkage forms between two saccharides. Two saccharides units. It is one of the linkage present between two saccharide units. Means it combines two monosaccharide units. In that, if you take an example, sucrose. I think already you know sucrose. Sucrose, when it undergo hydrolysis, at the time it produces glucose and fructose. Means it is a combination of glucose and fructose. Okay. What is that term? Glucose. Usually, this is one of the alpha D plus glucopyranose unit. Glucopyranose unit. Next, another one, fructose. This is one of the beta D minus fructopyranose unit. Remember, glucose is alpha D plus glucopyranose unit and beta D minus fructopyranose is the fructose unit. Okay. Between these two monosaccharide units, there is a one linkage present. That linkage is called as glycosidic linkage. Here, if you observe the sucrose structure, the C1 carbon atom of glucopyranose and C2 carbon of fructopyranose unit are linked through a one bond. This is called glycosidic linkage. As usual in maltose, there is a linkage present between C1 of one glucose and C4 of another glucose unit. Okay, this is also very important. Observe a different type of glycosidic linkage present between the different type of sugars. This is also very important for your CET level examination. Next, about starch. What is starch? Okay, already you know. Starch, it is one of the example for polysaccharide. Okay, starch, it is one of the polysaccharide. And one more thing, one important thing about starch is the starch. It is one of the storage polysaccharide present in plants. Remember, this point is very important. Starch, it is one of the storage polysaccharide present in plants. And this starch is available in two forms of components. One is amylose. And another one amylopectin. Amylose and amylopectin. Remember, this amylose, it is one of the water soluble component of starch. Water soluble component of starch. And amylopectin is water insoluble component of starch. Next, usually when you observe the general formula of polysaccharides, it's observed like this: C5H10 O6 N times. Okay, next, you remember amylose, it is one of the water soluble component of starch, and amylopectin is water insoluble component of starch. And when you observe the structure of starch, it contains the number of alpha D plus glucopyranose units with the linkage C1 and C4. Remember, starch, it consists of alpha D plus glucopyranose units in a repeated manner. It made with not a single alpha D plus glucopyranose unit. Many numbers of those units are linked with a linkage. Okay, when you observe the amylopectin structure, along with C1 and C4 of alpha D plus glucopyranose unit, there is also one more linkage about C1 and C6. Means in amylopectin there is a linkage present between C1 and C4, along with there is a C1 and C6 also appeared in the structure. Next, remember, this point is very important. Which one is water soluble component of starch? Definitely your answer is amylose. Which one is insoluble component of starch? Is amylopectin. Next point about glycogen. Remember students, glycogen, it is one of the storage polysaccharide present in animals. Starch is storage polysaccharide present in plants, and glycogen is one of the storage polysaccharide present in plants. Remember, when you observe this type of, when you observe the structure of glycogen, it is also similar to the structure which are appeared in amylopectin. But the linkages are more here. Compared to the amylopectin, there are number of more than linkages present in amylopectin are present in the glycogen. Very important. But important thing about glycogen is it is one of the storage polysaccharide present in animals. Next, another one, cellulose. Okay, what is cellulose? It is also one of the polysaccharide, and remember, it is one of the indigestible polysaccharide and required in the diet for living tissues, especially humans. Okay, cellulose. When you observe the structure of cellulose, there is a beta D plus glucopyranose units are present. Beta D plus glucopyranose units are observed in the structure of cellulose with glycosidic linkage C1 and C4. Very important. Next, concept about proteins. What are proteins? Remember, these are the most abundant biomolecules which are required for the living organisms. And usually this protein is the word derived from one of the Greek word proteos. Proteos. In Greek word, proteos means prime importance. Prime importance. Okay, next, come to the point about amino acids. Very important. Please listen here. What are amino acids? If the organic compound contain both carboxylic acid as well as amino group, then they are referred as amino acids. These amino acids, usually there are 20 naturally occurring amino acids are available in that classification. Next, go to the concept about classification of amino acids. On the basis of number of carboxylic acid as well as amino group, they are classified into acidic amino acids, basic amino acids as well as neutral amino acids. See here, what are acidic amino acids? Acidic amino acids are the amino acids contain more number of acidic group compared to the amino group. Means carboxylic acid groups, COH groups are more here compared to the amino group. And what are basic amino acids? Basic amino acids are the amino acids which contain more number of amino group compared to the carboxylic acid group. What are neutral amino acids? Neutral amino acids are the amino acids which contain equal number of carboxylic acid group as well as amino group. Okay, if you want to know more about amino acids, listen here. Among those 20 amino acids, only glycine is optically inactive. All other amino acids are optically active. Remember, only glycine is optically inactive because it it do not contain an asymmetric carbon atom. Except glycine, all other amino acids are optically active. Next, another very important point, these amino acids are also called as alpha amino acids. Amino acids are usually called as alpha amino acids. Another one very important point related to the amino acids is except proline. Remember, except proline, all amino acids are primary amino acids. But the proline is one of the secondary amino acid. Remember, this is also very important. Next, classification of in the classification of amino acids, another one very important thing, these amino acids are also classified into two types. One is essential amino acids, another one non-essential amino acids. Please go through the definition point of these two because this concept is very important, and particular structure of amino acids is very important for your CET, especially NEET level examination. You must know the structure of all amino acids. Okay, before that, what are amino acids? Means what are essential amino acids here? Essential amino acids, these are the amino acids which cannot synthesize in our body. Remember, what are essential amino acids? Which cannot synthesize in our body. They can give through diet or food. The amino acids are collected or formed in the body. What are non-essential amino acids? These are already synthesized in our body. Amino acids which are synthesized in our body are called non-essential amino acids. Okay, next. Remember, among those 20 amino acids, 10 amino acids are essential amino acids and 10 are non-essential amino acids. How you remember these 10 essential amino acids and 10 non-essential amino acids? Here is one trick. It is helps to remember the all type of essential and non-essential amino acids. Listen here. My statement, one of the tricky statement here. Okay, right. I written here one of the statements. This helps to remember the 10 essential amino acids. What is this? Try this VIP mark. Okay, here this try, it indicates one of the essential amino acid, tryptophan. This see here in this statement we know, or this statement helps to remember the alpha amino acids in that essential amino acids. Okay, this try indicates tryptophan. This T indicates tyrosine. This his indicates histidine, valine, isoleucine, phenylalanine, methionine, arginine, lysine and leucine. These are the 10 essential amino acids. Remember, once again see here, tryptophan, tyrosine, histidine, valine, isoleucine, phenylalanine, methionine, arginine, lysine, leucine. Okay, similarly for non-essential amino acids, in that also one of the tricky point, I think already you know about Bahubali film. In that the main part is Bahubali, other than that part, very important, Katappa's. Okay, see that statement. So what is this? This is Katappa's 3C. Okay, this statement helps to remember the non-essential amino acids. It's not K, there is C. Katappa's 3C. Here, it indicates. See here, cysteine, alanine, threonine, asparagine, proline, aspartic acid, serine, and 3Z means one Z is glycine, another Z is glutamine, and another Z is glutamic acid. Glutamic acid. So these two statements help for remembering the essential as well as non-essential amino acids. Once again, cysteine, alanine, threonine, asparagine, proline, aspartic acid, serine, glycine, glutamine, and glutamic acid. Okay, remember, this is one of the very important concept here. Next, come to the point of isoelectric point, technician point of view. This is very important. What is that isoelectric point? Remember, at a particular pH, amino acid cannot move towards, or dipolar ion cannot move towards either cathode or anode direction. Means at the stage it becomes neutral. That point is called as isoelectric point. Remember. Next one is deuter ion. In an aqueous solution, our amino acids exist or act as a dipolar ion is called deuter ion. Remember, and go through some examples also, very important. Deuter ion. What is deuter ion? In an aqueous solution, our amino acids exist as dipolar ion called deuter ion. Okay, next, another very important point about enzymes. What are enzymes? Remember, these are the catalyst. Enzymes are the catalyst and involved in the or catalyze the biochemical reaction. These are also chemical substance or chemical components, act as a catalyst and catalyze the biochemical reaction. Okay, one important thing is here, the non-protein part of the enzyme is called prosthetic group. Remember, non-protein part of enzyme is called prosthetic group, and which is binded with the enzyme another part called cofactor. Okay, one of the enzymes, zymase, it helps to convert to glucose to alcohol, means especially ethanol. Remember, all type of enzymes. If you take an example, hydrolysis of sucrose, one of the invertase enzyme that converts sucrose to glucose and fructose. Next, another one important concept about vitamins. These are the essential components which are required in the diet to maintain a good health and growth. Very important, vitamins. What are vitamins? These are the essential components required for the living organisms in a diet to maintain the good health and good growth. Okay, what about classification of vitamins? Remember, vitamins are classified into two types. One is water soluble vitamins, another one fat soluble vitamins. Water soluble vitamins, another one fat soluble vitamins. Water soluble vitamins and fat soluble vitamins. Okay, example for water soluble vitamins. Example for water soluble vitamins is vitamins B and C. Remember, water, B, C, hot water, like hot water. Remember, B, C are the water soluble vitamins. And what are fat soluble vitamins? Example, vitamin K, E, D, A. KEDA. Remember, KEDA means vitamin K, vitamin E, vitamin D, and vitamin A are the examples for fat soluble vitamins. And one more thing important here is the chemical names of a particular vitamins. See here, there is a one trick for remembering the names, chemical names of a with particular vitamin. In that, these are the main essential vitamins. Okay, I think you know one Hindi statements for remembering the chemical names of a particular vitamin, that is Rat Ek Topi. Remember this trick point. This helps to remembering the chemical names of a particular vitamins. In that, vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E and vitamin K. Okay, remember vitamin A, it indicates R means retinol. Chemical name of vitamin A is retinol. And third means vitamin B, thiamine. Vitamin C, already you know and familiar with this type of vitamin. A, it indicates ascorbic acid. Vitamin C, chemical name is ascorbic acid. Next, vitamin D, calciferol. Remember, vitamin D indicates calciferol. And vitamin E, tocopherol. Next, vitamin K, phylloquinone. Phylloquinone is the chemical name of vitamin K. And remember, along with this, a particular disease which is formed by the deficiency of particular vitamin is also very important for your CET level examination. Okay, this is about vitamins and the chemical names. Next, another one very important concept about nucleic acids. What are nucleic acids? Remember, these are the hereditary materials present in nucleus of the chromosomes and responsible for transmission of genetic materials from one generation to another generation. Because of this point, in our family, means in the same family, the same properties are observed because of these type of substances. In that, mainly you studied about RNA and DNA. What is that RNA? RNA means ribose nucleic acid and DNA means deoxyribose nucleic acid. Next, about lipids. What are lipids? These are the heterogeneous compounds which having higher calorific value. Remember, what are lipids? These are the chemical substance containing higher calorific value. Usually fats have high calorific value compared to the other food substances. Fats, oils, also they contain different type of lipids. And another thing important about nucleosides. What are nucleosides? Remember, these are the condensation products of nitrogenous base as well as pentose sugar. Nucleosides are the condensation products formed by the combination of pentose sugar and nitrogenous bases. Remember, the particular structure of nitrogen base is also very important for your CET as well as NEET level examination. Please practice the particular structure of nitrogenous bases like adenine, thymine, guanine, uracil, thymine, etc. And another one very important point, DNA and RNA. In that only I will discuss. One of the nitrogenous base only present in RNA but not in DNA is uracil. Remember, uracil present only in RNA but not in DNA. Similarly, one of the nitrogenous base thymine, it is present only in DNA but not in RNA. Okay, next, I think already you know about nucleosides and next concept about nucleotides. Remember, in presence of nucleosides, there is only pentose sugar and nitrogenous bases. But in presence of nucleotides, along with those two, means nitrogenous base and pentose sugar, a phosphoric acid group also available or observed in presence of nucleotides. Next, last concept about hormones. What are hormones? Remember, these are the chemical substance which are secreted by the ductless glands. You can easily define hormones as these are the chemical substance which are Hormones are the chemical substance which secreted by the ductless glands. For example, if you go through the example, remember androgens and testosterone are the example for male sex hormones, and androgens and progesterone. Estrogens and progesterone are the examples for female sex hormones. Estrogens and progesterone are female sex hormones, and androgens and testosterone are the male sex hormones. Okay, this is about some synopsis points. Concentrate on these points. Definitely you answer your CET and NEET level examination and go through detailed study of these points. Okay, thank you.